Hello. Today we are going to be working in Illustrator and creating our practice low poly fruit project. So I need you guys to do a couple of things. Once you get into your computers, I need you to go to your Creative Cloud. I need you to make sure that you are logged into your account. If not, sign out of someone else's and then log in with your own information. Then you're gonna see a screen that looks something like this. I want you guys to go ahead and hit new file, and we're gonna hit one of the preset sizes here. So I want you to select letter, and then you can either you can change the orientation. You can either do landscape or portrait. Just depends on the reference photo that you chose from Google Classroom. And then you're gonna go ahead and hit create. Then you should see something that looks like this. And now what you are going to do, if you have not done this already, that's okay. Once after I explain what's next, you can go ahead and pause your video and then go and save your image from Google Classroom. But I need you guys to create a low poly folder in your Digimedia folder, and then I want you to save that fruit image into that folder. So if I go back to Illustrator, open up my Digimedia folder, I'm gonna then drag my fruit picture in, and then you might have to click back over into Illustrator to see that it actually loaded. Now, when we are working with the image, we want to be on our selection tool. You can hit V for that to just pop up automatically. And then we need to size this up a little bit. So notice that when I take the corner and I size it up, it defaults to just like your free form. So I'm gonna hit Command Z to undo that. To get your image to resize in a uniform way, you're gonna go ahead and hit the Shift key, and then you can go ahead and just expand, and then we can center it. I'm gonna make this a little bit bigger, just so it takes up a lot of space. Now, it doesn't matter if it gets a little bit blurry in the process of sizing it up, because we're going to be creating a vector image over it, and then we'll delete the image underneath. So, next thing, we are gonna go over into layers, and I want you guys to look here. You're just going to see the image of your fruit, and then I want you to create a new layer, so you're gonna have layer 2, and then that's gonna be on top of your fruit layer. Now we can go ahead, and if you hit this area right here on your layer 1, it'll lock it, so then that way nothing moves around on the bottom while you're creating your vector image on top. Alright, next thing we are going to do is we are going to select your pen tool. So there's two pen tools here. We have the curvature pen tool, and we have just the regular pen tool. You just want the regular pen tool. You could just click on it here, or you could also hit P on your keyboard, and then it will just select it for you. And then now we need to focus in on our fill and stroke. So you can see those over here. So the solid box is your fill, and then the outline box is your stroke. So this is the outline, and then this is what's gonna fill the middle of the image. So you can hit these arrows and it'll toggle the colors from the fill to the stroke. But we want to make our fill empty. So we're gonna go ahead and select that, no fill, and then the stroke, we can go ahead over to properties on this side of the screen. And if you just click on the stroke, it'll allow you to pick whichever color you want. So it doesn't matter what color. This color isn't gonna matter later because we're gonna change it, but just make sure it's something that contrasts with the subject matter that you chose. So blue, my image is not blue, so that'll work well for me. And then go ahead and select for your point of your stroke. So this is gonna be like the width of your stroke. Pick like a 0.5 or 6 or something like that. I think I'll just go with a 5. All right, and then now we should be good to go. We're now going to create a outline of our pear to create the different triangles for our vector image. So with your pen tool selected, you are going to go ahead and just start to create your image mine defaulted back to 1. Didn't select this. So I'm gonna go up to, I'll make it 6 so it's nice and visible. So now you can see the stroke of my line is very thick. Now, if once you finish your shape, you're gonna see the circle icon next to the pen tool, and then that means that you have closed the shape. So we want to make this whole thing one shape in Illustrator's mind. So I'm not gonna close that shape until the very end. So I'm not gonna come back to this dot until very last, and I'm just going to go ahead and create some lines following the, the outline of my pear. And then I'm gonna go ahead, once I get that started a little bit, I'm gonna go in and start to create some triangles based on the different colors I'm seeing here. Now notice, when I'm trying to come back onto a point, a little minus sign pops up. If I were to click this anchor point, these are called anchor points. If I were to click this anchor point when the negative sign is up, it's going to delete it. So I don't want to do that. I'm going to hit Command Z to undo. In order to complete this shape here specifically, I need to hit Command, and then it's going to tell Illustrator that I want to continue this line. So then over here, I don't need to hit Shift. I'm sorry if I said hit Command. You're supposed to hit Shift. So I'm going to hit Shift, and then notice that that minus sign goes away, and then I can go ahead and close the form. Now I'm not going to go here yet, because then that's going to finish things out for me. I'm not ready to do that yet. So every time I'm clicking onto an anchor point, Shift, 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 and then if I want to create a point on a line, I can go ahead and just click, and it'll make that point. But then if I want to now connect to the line that I made, I need to hit Shift. The more triangles you make, the more detailed your low poly image is going to look. The less you make, the more like graphic and kind of, low resolution it's going to look. So be thoughtful about making your triangles. And then I'm just gonna go ahead and finish doing this, and then I'll come back when we're ready for the next step. All right, so now that you have finished your triangles, what you're going to do, you might notice, like on the corners here, that you have these jagged lines. We don't want that, doesn't really look great. So in order to change this, what you're going to do is you're gonna go to Window, then you're going to go down to where it says Stroke, and then you're gonna see this box like here. You can go ahead and clip that into this little bar here. And then this is just showing me the weight of my stroke. I want some more information. So you're gonna go and click this little arrow next to stroke, and this is going to make your stroke menu a little bit just more in depth. So I want to go ahead and make these corners rounded. So I'm going to go to corner right here, and then I'm going to select the middle one, which is round join. And then notice that cleans up these corners really well. So we go from this to that. Now I'm gonna go ahead and I'm going to create another, I'm gonna connect to here, hit Shift, I need to do my stem. And then now we need to go ahead and fill in our pear with our different colors. So what we're going to do is we're going to make our stroke now transparent. You can do that over here. Oh, I need to do that with both. So I'm going to go to my select tool. I'm going to select everything. And then I'm going to make my stroke transparent, but I can still see the lines creating. So these aren't real lines. These are just showing the outlines of the strokes that I've created. Now you're going to go ahead and open up a window that's back up to window. And then you are going to go ahead to swatches, and you're going to see a little window that looks like this. You can also put this into this bar here, and then you can open it like this and it's just connected. You can also make it larger if you want. It's going to open to the default, which is just these. And then you can go back to the swatch library, which is right down here. It's this icon. It looks like these little books. And then if you scroll over for a minute, it'll say swatch library. And then it's going to give you all these options. Now, you're welcome to explore these and just kind of see what they have to offer. A lot of them are self-explanatory, but I find that color books and then the true match to be the best for my purposes. So I'm going to go ahead and look at this. You can take it out of the menu or you can leave it in, whichever one works best for you. I'm going to make it nice and big because I want to see all my options. And then you are going to go over to the three dots here to open up your toolbar. And I want you to find a tool called Live Paint Bucket. Or you can simply press K and then that will come up. Then you're going to click on your image one time, and then after you click, you should be able to highlight each of your strokes like independently. When you scroll over, it'll, select them. Now, I am going to have to match these colors to the pair best that I can. So I'm going to go ahead in here and I'm just going to identify colors that I think are a good match for each of these. If I don't like it, I can just simply hit Command Z. I need to go a little bit darker, I think, and then a little bit more yellow. Yeah, I like that one. For the ones around it, I'm going to go ahead and get a little bit darker maybe. That's the same one. You don't want to put two colors that are the same next to each other because simply it just won't look very good. You won't have that low poly effect. It's just going to look like those are like one solid shape because there's no longer those stroke lines. So make sure that you pick different colors. You can kind of keep within the same family of colors if you want. I need to get a little bit darker here. Less green. Once you go ahead and finish filling in your pair, what you can do is you can create a new layer. That's this button right down here, create new layer. You're gonna go ahead and drag that one below, and then I want you to go ahead and just select the little circle on this one. You're then gonna go ahead and select your rectangle tool. You can also hit M on the keyboard for that one. Pick a new color for that, and then in the background of the image, and I clicked back on my other layer, so make sure that you're on the correct layer. You're gonna go ahead and just fill in the background with a rectangle tool. Now, if you wanna be more specific with this color, you can double click on the little square here, and I wanna make it more of like a teal background. And then in the end, you have something that looks like this. And you can also resize it. Reminder that since it's a vector image, it'll resize nice and even, but fit it within your composition real nice. And then the last thing you're gonna do is export as, and then for this one, we want it to stay a vector image, so we're gonna actually select SVG. So you should see that change there. You can name it the fruit, LP for low poly, maybe your initials, and then just make sure that you're saving that into your Digimedia folder. All right, you can just hit OK on this one, and then that is how you create a low poly image in Illustrator. See ya.